The Imperial scout ship emerged from hyperspace at the edge of an unremarkable solar system. Captain Reed stood on the bridge, his purple eyes scanning the holographic display of the third planet. It was mostly blue, wrapped in white clouds, with green and brown landmasses scattered across its surface. Just another primitive world to add to the Empire's ever-growing database. Captain, we're detecting unusual energy signatures from the planet, reported First Officer Turner, his antenna twitching with curiosity. They appear to be artificial in nature. Reed moved closer to the display, his interest piqued. The Empire had conquered thousands of worlds, but few showed signs of advanced technology. Analyze and report, he ordered. Meanwhile, deep within a hidden facility beneath the Rocky Mountains on Earth, Admiral Gray stared at her own display with growing concern. The quantum sensors she had helped develop were showing something impossible, an unknown ship using technology far beyond anything humans had created. "Ma'am, the object just launched smaller vessels," reported Lieutenant Baker, his fingers flying across the holographic controls. "They're heading toward our outer defense grid." Gray nodded, her face remaining calm despite the gravity of the situation. Humanity had prepared for this moment for decades, hiding their true technological capabilities behind a facade of primitive satellites and outdated space stations. Back on the Imperial scout ship, Reed received the preliminary report. Species shows signs of early space exploration. Primitive orbital stations, basic propulsion technology. However, Turner paused, double-checking the readings. There are inconsistencies. "Explain," Reed demanded, his purple eyes narrowing. "Their visible technology suggests they're at development level 3, but we're detecting energy signatures consistent with level 6 or 7 technology. It's as if..." Turner hesitated, as if they're hiding their true capabilities. Reed's expression darkened. In all his years of service to the Empire, he had never encountered a species that deliberately concealed their advancement. It was troubling. On Earth, Admiral Gray called an emergency meeting of the Defense Council. The massive underground chamber filled with military leaders from around the world, their faces grave as they watched the alien vessels on the main display. "Ladies and gentlemen," Gray began, her voice steady, "First Contact Protocol is now in effect. All hidden defense systems are armed and tracking the unknown vessels. Our deep space sensors indicate this is merely a scout force, but where there are scouts, there's an invasion fleet," General Wells finished, his weathered face grim. In orbit, the Imperial probes approach Earth's visible satellite network. Reed watched with growing suspicion as his sensors detected subtle energy fluctuations throughout the planet's orbit. Something wasn't right. "Captain," Turner called out suddenly, "we're being scanned. The technology is sophisticated, far more sophisticated than anything we can see on the surface." Reed's mandibles clicked in agitation. "Launch additional probes. Full spectrum analysis. I want to know exactly what we're dealing with." The moment the new probes launched, Earth's hidden defense grid came alive. Quantum sensors tracked every movement, while automated systems calculated weapon solutions that remained unused. Humanity would not fire the first shot, but they would be ready if the aliens proved hostile. In the command center, Admiral Gray watched the alien probes with growing concern. "They're testing us," she observed, "trying to determine our true capabilities." "Should we maintain the deception?" asked General Wells. Gray shook her head slowly. "No, they're too thorough. Prepare a tight beam transmission to all our off-world colonies. If these aliens are hostile, we'll need every advantage we've hidden throughout the solar system." On the Imperial scout ship, Reed made his decision. "Send a priority message to High Command," he ordered. "Potential level 7 civilization detected, deliberately concealing advancement. Request immediate intervention fleet." Turner's antenna drooped slightly. "Sir, if they're truly at level 7, then this primitive-looking world could be a serious threat to the Empire," Reed finished. "Better to deal with them now than wait until they reveal their true strength." As the Imperial message sped toward the Empire's capital, Humanity's own warnings raced through the solar system. The chess pieces were moving into position, and neither side yet realized they were about to change the galaxy forever. In her command center, Admiral Gray watched the alien scout ship, knowing that humanity's long-held secret was about to be exposed. "And so it begins," she whispered, hoping that all their preparations would be enough for what was coming. 3 days after the initial discovery, Earth's skies filled with the massive shapes of Imperial warships. They appeared without warning, their hulls gleaming in the sunlight as they took up position around the planet. The Empire had decided to make its presence known. Admiral Gray stood in the United Nations Assembly Hall, watching the live feed of the alien armada. Despite the tension in the room, she maintained her composure. "Their fleet formation suggests they're prepared for both diplomacy and combat," she explained to the gathered world leaders. On the Imperial flagship, High Commander Reed, newly promoted after his discovery, prepared for the first official contact. "Remember," he told his officers, "show strength but avoid direct conflict. We need to assess their true capabilities before making any aggressive moves." The humans chose Commander Stone to lead the diplomatic team. He was a veteran negotiator who had brokered peace between nations during Earth's last global conflict. As his shuttle ascended toward the designated meeting point, a neutral space station hastily constructed by both sides, Stone reviewed the first contact protocols one final time. "Stay calm, show respect, but give nothing away," he reminded his team. "We're here to talk, not to surrender." The meeting took place in a large, circular chamber. The Imperial delegation entered first, their tall, alien forms imposing in their ornate uniforms. High Commander Reed led them, his purple eyes scanning the room for any threats. When the human delegation entered, Reed was surprised by their simple appearance. Commander Stone wore a plain blue uniform with minimal decorations, yet carried himself with quiet confidence. "Welcome to Earth space," Stone began, using the universal translator developed from studying the scout ship's communications. "We come in peace and hope to establish diplomatic relations." Reed's mandibles clicked softly. "The Galactic Empire acknowledges your greeting. We have come to offer you a place within our civilization." He paused for effect. "Under our protection and guidance, of course." Stone's expression remained neutral, but his eyes hardened slightly. "We appreciate the offer, but Earth is an independent world. We would be interested in equal diplomatic relations and trade agreements." The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Reed's antenna twitched in what the humans' cultural experts recognized as amusement. "Perhaps you misunderstand. The Empire does not negotiate with Level 3 civilizations. We offer protection, and in return, you will serve." "There seems to be a misunderstanding," Stone replied carefully. "Earth's development level may be different than you assume." Reed stepped forward, his tall frame looming over Stone. "We are aware of your attempts at deception. Your hidden technologies have not gone unnoticed. This makes you dangerous, and the Empire deals with dangerous elements in only one way, unless they submit willingly." The human delegation remained seated, showing no fear. Stone's voice remained steady. "If you're aware of our hidden capabilities, then you understand that threats are unnecessary and unwise." Frustrated by the humans' lack of submission, Reed decided to demonstrate the Empire's power. He raised his hand, and a holographic display appeared, showing an Imperial warship targeting a small human outpost on Mars. "Perhaps a demonstration," Reed began. Before he could finish, alarms blared throughout the station. The Imperial warship that had been targeting Mars suddenly found itself surrounded by previously invisible defense platforms. More installations appeared across the solar system, weapons primed but not firing. Stone stood slowly. "We too can offer demonstrations, High Commander. Earth has no desire for conflict, but we will not be threatened or subjugated." Reed's purple eyes blazed with anger. "You dare to threaten the Empire?" "Not a threat," Stone replied calmly. "Just a demonstration of why peaceful cooperation would benefit us both." The meeting ended abruptly, with both delegations returning to their respective vessels. As Stone's shuttle descended back to Earth, he contacted Admiral Gray. "They're going to attack," he reported grimly. "Their pride can't handle an inferior species standing up to them." Gray nodded on the screen. "Then they'll learn why we kept our true strength hidden for so long." She turned to her staff. "Initiate Defense Plan Omega, and may whatever gods they believe in help them, because humanity is done hiding." In orbit, the Imperial fleet began moving into attack formation, unaware that they were about to start a war that would change the galaxy's understanding of humanity forever. The Imperial fleet struck at dawn. 500 warships dropped their stealth fields and opened fire simultaneously, expecting to overwhelm Earth's defenses in a single devastating attack. High Commander Reed watched from his flagship, certain of victory. "All ships, commence planetary bombardment," he ordered. "Show these primitives the cost of defiance." But humanity had been preparing for this moment for decades. The instant the Imperial ships revealed themselves, Admiral Gray's voice rang through every human military channel. "Operation Thunderbolt is now active. All units, execute your orders." What happened next would be written about in military textbooks across the galaxy for centuries to come. The seemingly empty space around Earth shimmered as thousands of cloaked defense platforms revealed themselves. Unlike the primitive weapons the Empire had expected, these platforms unleashed streams of quantum-tipped missiles and plasma beams that cut through Imperial shields like paper. "Impossible," Reed shouted as the first wave of reports came in. "Their technology, it's beyond level 7. On Earth, Admiral Gray coordinated the defense from her underground command center. Holographic displays showed the battle unfolding in real time as humanity's hidden fleet rose from beneath the ocean's surface, their advanced engines leaving trails of blue fire against the morning sky. "Battle Group Alpha, engage their left flank," she commanded. "Battle Group Beta, protect our orbital facilities. All planetary defense grids, maintain suppressing fire." The Imperial fleet's neat formation began to break apart as human ships attacked from unexpected vectors. Unlike the rigid, traditional combat patterns the Empire used, Earth's vessels moved in seemingly random patterns, making them nearly impossible to target effectively. "They're using chaos tactics," Turner reported to Reed, his antenna quivering with disbelief. "Each ship is fighting independently, but somehow maintaining perfect coordination." Reed watched in growing horror as his carefully planned assault fell apart. Human vessels, smaller but far more maneuverable than Imperial ships, darted between his formation's gaps, their weapons causing devastating damage before they vanished again behind advanced stealth fields. In the asteroid belt, another surprise awaited the Empire. As their ships retreated to regroup, they discovered that humans had turned the entire region into a military zone. Hidden bases inside asteroids launched swarms of autonomous combat drones, while rail guns the size of mountains accelerated chunks of metal to relativistic speeds. "Warning," Turner shouted. "Multiple relativistic projectiles detected." Reed watched helplessly as several of his largest ships were torn apart by weapons he hadn't even known were possible at this technology level. "All ships, emergency evasive action." But the humans weren't finished. From Mars, massive electromagnetic pulse weapons activated, sending waves of disrupting energy through space. Imperial ships found their systems failing as the pulses overwhelmed their shielding. Admiral Gray allowed herself a small smile as the battle unfolded exactly as planned. "Launch the swarm," she ordered. Thousands of small, automated combat vessels emerged from hidden bases across the solar system. Unlike traditional fighter craft, these vessels were controlled by advanced AI systems, capable of reacting and adapting faster than any organic pilot. "What kind of species are they?" Reed demanded as he watched the swarm tear through his fighter squadrons. How could they hide this level of technology? On Earth, military bases that had appeared to be simple concrete structures opened to reveal advanced launch facilities. More ships joined the battle, each one demonstrating capabilities that shocked the Imperial forces. The battle lasted less than 6 hours. When it ended, nearly a third of the Imperial fleet had been destroyed or disabled, while human losses were minimal. The remaining Imperial ships retreated to the edge of the solar system, their commanders struggling to understand what had gone wrong. Admiral Gray broadcast one final message to the retreating fleet. "This was just our first line of defense. Return, and you'll discover why humanity has survived every threat we've ever faced. This is your only warning." In his damaged flagship, Reed stared at the message in disbelief. For the first time in his career, he felt real fear, not just for himself, but for the Empire. They had severely underestimated these humans, and he suspected they would all pay dearly for that mistake. "Send word to the Imperial capital," he ordered quietly. "The humans, they're not what we thought. They're so much worse." 2 weeks after their initial defeat, the Empire returned. This time, they'd brought their full might. 5,000 warships darkened the space around Jupiter, their massive forms blocking out the distant sun. At their center flew the Imperial dreadnought Star Crusher, a vessel larger than Earth's moon. High Commander Reed stood on its bridge, now supported by Admiral White, the Empire's most decorated war leader. "The humans caught us by surprise once," White said, his silver armor gleaming. "It won't happen again." But Earth was ready. Admiral Gray had used the past 2 weeks wisely. "All colonies, report status," she commanded from her new mobile headquarters beneath the Martian surface. "Luna Base, ready. Mars Defense Grid, active. Venus Shipyards, launching. Mercury Solar Array, powered. Jupiter mining colonies, armed and waiting." The Empire's massive fleet split into 3 attack groups. The first headed toward Mars, the second toward Earth, and the third began systematically targeting human outposts throughout the solar system. White watched the tactical display with satisfaction. "See how they've spread their forces to protect their colonies. A fatal mistake. We'll crush them one by one." But Admiral Gray smiled as she watched the Imperial fleet divide. "Just as predicted," she said to her staff. "Activate the rings." Suddenly, the space around Saturn lit up. Its famous rings, which had always appeared to be just ice and rock, revealed their true nature. Millions of automated defense platforms emerged from hiding, their weapons already charging. "Impossible," White shouted as the readings came in. "The rings, they're all weapons." "Not just weapons," Reed replied grimly. "Look at Earth's moon." The lunar surface cracked open, revealing massive hangars beneath its cratered surface. Hundreds of warships emerged, their hulls covered in stealth plating that made them nearly invisible to Imperial sensors. The battle erupted across the entire solar system. Near Mercury, the Empire discovered why humans had built so many solar panels around the planet. The arrays focused the sun's energy into devastating beam weapons that cut through Imperial ships like butter. In the asteroid belt, mining ships suddenly transformed into heavily armed battlecruisers. Every human facility, every outpost, every seemingly innocent scientific station revealed hidden military capabilities. "They've militarized their entire solar system," White realized too late. Every piece of infrastructure serves 2 purposes. On Mars, the surface itself seemed to come alive as hidden defense systems activated. Massive rail guns emerged from what had appeared to be natural mountains, while valleys turned out to be carefully disguised spacecraft hangars. Admiral Gray coordinated it all from her mobile command center, watching as human forces struck from every direction. "Launch the Titan protocol," she ordered. Deep within Saturn's largest moon, Titan, something stirred. The Empire watched in horror as the moon's methane oceans parted, revealing a massive shipyard that had been hidden beneath the surface for decades. "How long have they been preparing for this?" Reed whispered, watching as more human ships joined the battle. "Since we first looked at the stars," Gray answered in a system-wide broadcast. "We knew we weren't alone. We knew someone would come. And we decided that humanity would not be found wanting when that day arrived." The battle raged for 3 days. Imperial ships fought with desperate courage, But everywhere they turned, they found new human defenses, new weapons, new tactics they'd never seen before. White stared at the casualty reports in disbelief. 2,000 Imperial ships lost, with only a handful of confirmed human vessels destroyed. They're not just fighting us, he realized. They're showing us why we should fear them. As the Empire's forces began their second retreat, Reed received one final message from Admiral Gray. Consider this a lesson. Next time, we won't fight defensively. Next time, we'll show you why the galaxy should be thankful we chose to hide rather than conquer. For the first time in its history, the Galactic Empire knew true fear. They had come to subjugate a primitive world, only to awaken a sleeping giant that had been preparing for war since before they'd even detected its civilization. After the Empire's second retreat, Admiral Gray called a meeting with Earth's military leadership. The time had come to show the galaxy why humans were truly dangerous. In a secure facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, she revealed humanity's greatest secret. Project Prometheus is ready, she announced, gesturing to the massive chamber behind her. Inside, rows of enhanced soldiers stood in formation, their armor gleaming under the bright lights. These weren't just trained warriors. They were the peak of human engineering. General Wells stepped forward to explain. Each soldier carries the strength of 10 men, with reflexes faster than any alien species we've studied. Their armor isn't just for protection. It's a part of them. Meanwhile, Commander Stone prepared for his most dangerous mission. He would lead the first strike team of enhanced soldiers against the Imperial command ship. Remember, he told his team, we're not just soldiers anymore. We're humanity's message to the galaxy. The Empire had regrouped at their nearest base, 20 light years from Earth. High Commander Reed and Admiral White were discussing their next move when the alerts began blaring. Multiple unknown ships appearing. Turner shouted from his station. They're everywhere. Human vessels emerged from hyperspace, but these were different from before. They were smaller, faster, and carried technology the Empire had never seen. Most shocking of all, they were using Imperial jump drives. Impossible, White whispered. They've copied our technology already. On the lead human ship, Stone smiled. His enhanced eyes could see through the Imperial ship's hulls, marking targets for his team. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our weapons, he transmitted to the Imperial fleet. It's our ability to learn and adapt. The battle began, but this time it was different. Enhanced human soldiers teleported directly onto Imperial ships, their hybrid armor shrugging off energy weapons like rain. They moved with impossible speed, securing vital areas before the crews could even react. Reed watched in horror as reports flooded in. They're not just copying our technology, he realized. They're improving it while they use it. In Engineering Bay 7 of the Imperial flagship, an enhanced soldier named Miller studied an alien power core while fighting off guards. Within minutes, he had understood its principles and was already transmitting improvements back to Earth. Admiral Gray received the data with satisfaction. Humanity's greatest weapon had always been their minds, their ability to see, understand, and improve upon any technology they encountered. The enhanced soldiers were just the delivery system. All units, she broadcast, initiate Phase 2. Across the battlefield, human ships began transforming. Their hulls shifted and changed as they incorporated improvements learned from captured Imperial technology. What had started as a battle was becoming a technological revolution. Their ships. White stared at his screens in disbelief. They're evolving during combat. Stone's team reached the Imperial flagship's bridge. The alien crew found themselves facing opponents who seemed to know their tactics before they used them, who could predict their movements and counter their technology with terrifying efficiency. You thought we were primitive, Stone told the captured Imperial officers. But we were never primitive. We were patient. We were learning. And now, we're teaching. Back on Earth, Admiral Gray watched as human forces systematically dismantled the Imperial fleet. Every captured ship, Every piece of technology, every battle tactic was analyzed, improved, and turned against its creators. "Send word to all colonies," she ordered. "Begin full production. Use everything we've learned." The Empire had wanted to see humanity's true power. Now they were seeing it, and it was far more terrifying than they had imagined. Humans weren't just warriors or engineers or tacticians. They were all of these things at once, constantly learning, adapting, and evolving. As the last Imperial ships flood, carrying tales of their defeat, Stone transmitted one final message. "Consider this a demonstration. We could have done this from the start. Remember that the next time you think about returning." In the debris field of battle, human ships continued to evolve, incorporating new technologies and improvements. Humanity had been unleashed, and the galaxy would never be the same. The news spread through the Empire like wildfire. Stories of the humans' victories reached every corner of the galaxy, carried by survivors and data recordings. In the Imperial capital, the High Council gathered for an emergency session. "These humans," spoke Council Member Blue, his tentacles waving in agitation, "they're unlike anything we've encountered. They don't just fight, they evolve during battle." The Imperial Palace buzzed with activity as representatives from various alien species arrived to discuss the human threat. Many had been part of the Empire for thousands of years, but now they watched the battle recordings with growing unease. On the edges of the solar system, humanity prepared for their next move. Admiral Gray stood before a holographic map of the galaxy, studying potential targets. "The Empire is vast," she told her commanders, "but they've never faced an enemy who fights like us." Commander Stone's enhanced soldiers had already proven this point. During the last battle, they had demonstrated a fighting style that confused and terrified the Imperial forces. Instead of following standard military doctrine, each soldier adapted their tactics on the fly, creating chaos that the Empire's rigid command structure couldn't handle. "Broadcast the Kuiper Belt footage," Gray ordered. Across the galaxy, alien species watched as human ships engaged Imperial forces near Pluto. The recording showed how human vessels seemed to fight randomly, with no clear pattern or strategy. Yet somehow, this apparent chaos was coordinated perfectly, leading Imperial ships into carefully planned traps. "It's not just their technology," High Commander Reed reported to the Council. "Their minds work differently. They see patterns we miss, find solutions we'd never consider. And worst of all, they seem to enjoy it." In the Kuiper Belt, the decisive battle began. The Empire had sent their elite Ghost Fleet, ships supposedly capable of matching human stealth technology. But they found something unexpected waiting for them. The human defenders didn't try to match the Ghost Fleet's stealth capabilities. Instead, they filled space with clouds of smart dust, billions of microscopic sensors that made stealth impossible. The Empire's greatest advantage was neutralized by a solution so simple, yet so unexpected, that it left their commanders speechless. "That's how they think," Admiral White explained to the Council. "They don't try to be our strengths. They'd make them irrelevant. Every time we adapt to their tactics, they change the rules of engagement entirely." The Ghost Fleet's destruction marked a turning point. Various species within the Empire began questioning the wisdom of continuing the war. The Centaurians, known for their logical thinking, were the first to speak up. "The humans have demonstrated superior adaptation capabilities," their representative stated. "Logic suggests negotiation would be more beneficial than continued conflict." Other species followed. The Regelians, master strategists themselves, admitted they couldn't predict human tactics. The Proxima Collective, experts in technological warfare, confessed that human innovation rates exceeded their most advanced projections. In Earth's war room, Admiral Gray received the reports with satisfaction. "They're beginning to understand," she told her staff. "We never wanted this war, but we've spent centuries preparing for it, not just with weapons, but with ways of thinking that no other species has developed." The final battle in the Kuiper Belt became legend. Human ships danced through the debris field, using tactics that seemed suicidal until the moment they worked perfectly. Enhanced soldiers boarded enemy vessels, their movements so quick and unpredictable that security systems couldn't track them. When it was over, the Empire had lost their most elite fleet without destroying a single human capital ship. More importantly, they had lost their aura of invincibility. The humans, Reed reported to the Council, his voice heavy with resignation. They don't just defeat you. They make you realize you never had a chance. And then they show you exactly why. As the Empire's forces retreated from the solar system, humanity's message was clear. They had been holding back, and this was just a demonstration of what they could do if truly provoked. The galaxy would never look at Earth the same way again. 1 month after the Kuiper Belt battle, the Imperial High Council made an unprecedented decision. For the first time in its million-year history, the Empire issued a galaxy-wide warning about a single species. The message spread across thousands of worlds, transmitted in every known language. Avoid contact with the species known as humans. They are not what they appear to be. In the Imperial capital, High Commander Reed prepared his final report. His hands shook slightly as he recorded. Humans possess 3 qualities that make them the most dangerous species we have ever encountered. The recording played before the Council as Reed continued. First, they hide their true capabilities. When we found them, they appeared primitive. This was intentional. They had concealed their real technology, their real strength, waiting to reveal it when they chose. Admiral Gray watched from Earth as the Empire's warning spread. On her screens, she could see alien civilizations scrambling to establish neutral zones between their territories and human space. The message was being taken very seriously. Second, Reed's voice continued. Humans never show their full strength at once. Each time we adapted to their weapons, their tactics, their technology, they revealed new capabilities. We never saw their true limits because they were constantly evolving, constantly improving. In deep space, Commander Stone's enhanced soldiers were helping establish Earth's new defensive perimeter. Alien observation ships watched from a safe distance as humans casually moved asteroids into strategic positions, demonstrating their mastery of space engineering. But the third and most terrifying quality, Reed's voice trembled slightly, is their ability to turn an enemy's strength against them. Every technology we used, they improved. Every tactic we employed, they countered. Every advantage we thought we had, they rendered meaningless. The council chambers fell silent as images played across their screens. They showed human ships incorporating Imperial technology, human soldiers using improved versions of Imperial weapons, and human defensive systems that had evolved beyond anything the Empire possessed. Admiral White added his own warning. Do not mistake their current peaceful stance as weakness. They fought defensively because they chose to. They limited their counterattacks because they chose to. Everything they did was by choice, not necessity. Across the galaxy, alien species shared stories of the war. They spoke of human ships that changed and evolved during battle, of soldiers who moved faster than tracking systems could follow, of strategies that seemed like chaos until the moment of victory revealed their true brilliance. On Earth, Admiral Gray received a message from the Imperial Council. They were formally recognizing Earth's territory, including all its colonies and the surrounding space. More importantly, they were acknowledging humanity as a sovereign power equal to the Empire itself. We won more than a war, Gray told her staff. We won our place in the galaxy, not through conquest, but by showing them why they should fear trying to conquer us. The final part of the Empire's warning became the most repeated phrase in galactic history. Humans are not primitive creatures who became strong. They are strong creatures who appeared primitive. Remember this difference. Your survival may depend on it. Commander Stone, standing on the observation deck of his ship, watched alien vessels carefully navigate around Earth's space. They're finally learning, he said to his team. We never wanted to rule the galaxy. We just wanted to make sure nobody could rule us. In the years that followed, Other alien species would approach Earth cautiously, seeking trade agreements and diplomatic relations. They always sent their most experienced negotiators, and they always remembered the Empire's warning. Humanity had revealed itself to the galaxy not as the primitive species they appeared to be, but as something far more terrifying. A civilization that had spent its entire history preparing for a war it hoped would never come, and when it did come, proved to be more than anyone had imagined possible. As Reed's final report concluded, the galaxy believed we found a primitive world to conquer. Instead, we awakened a sleeping giant who had been watching, waiting, and preparing. May future generations learn from our mistake. The humans were never prey. They were always predators, waiting patiently in plain sight.